ACT English Rhetorical Skills, Miss Collins. Rhetorical skills are unique to the ACT because they ask about writing, editing, and coherence. They ask about what written language should sound like or the order of ideas. 35 rhetorical skill questions appear on the ACT. 12 questions are on strategy. 11 questions are on organization. 12 questions are on style. Transitions. Strategy questions on the ACT are one of two types: transition and appropriate use. Transitions occur in the passage as the writer uses words to connect thoughts and ideas and are easily transparent because the answer choices consist of transition word or phrases. They appear at the beginning of a sentence or a clause and connect to clauses. Appropriate use questions ask whether and how to revise or add content to a passage based on a specific set of criteria. These are the less common of the strategy questions. Strategy transitions. Establish a cause and effect relationship. Show a continuation, point out contrasts and contradictions, signal an explanation, suggest elements are being ordered, and point out similarities. Jean's ACT score was high because she studied the book. Because establishes a cause and effect relationship between studying this book and a higher ACT score. There are 35 rhetorical skill items, and they are very different from the other ACT items, and shows a continuation in the discussion of the rhetorical skills and items. Transitional items are supposed to be the easiest. However, you cannot take them for granted. However, correctly points out a contrast. Let's look at a model ACT question. It was a beautiful warm day. In spite of this, the walkers wore shorts and short-sleeved shirts, and yet, for a skier, it may not have been the most beautiful day. Question number 1, the best answer is B. B is the correct answer because this question is a classic transition item. The first sentence tells us it is a warm day. The second sentence tells us the walkers wore shorts and short-sleeved shirts. The phrase "in spite of this" connects the first sentence to the second and also implies a contrast. Because of this transitional phrase, we would expect the second sentence not to flow naturally from the first, and yet it does. The phrase "in spite of this" cannot be correct. Choices C and D also imply a contrast. Question 2, the best answer is F. The original wording is correct. This sentence shows a contrast to the previous sentence. Choices G, H, and J imply that there is no contrast between this sentence and the previous sentence. ACT English appropriate use. Let's look at the model English ACT appropriate use. Understanding bond yields can be difficult. You have to consider both the price of the bond and the interest rate. When the interest rate on the bond goes up, the price of the bond goes down. Suppose that the author of this passage wanted to give an example of the statement about a bond's interest rate and price found in the sentence 3. What sentence would best meet the writer's purpose? Consider each item in turn. Choice A is not an example. It describes the consequences of a rate increase. Choice B has nothing to do with bonds. Choice C is an example. It describes a specific situation in which the interest rate of a bond went up while the price came down. Choice D gives an example, but of the interest rates of risky and safe bonds. The correct answer is C. Let's look at model ACT question number 2. Coin collectors place a significant premium on the quality of a coin. Coins in mint condition command the highest prices, followed by coins that have never been circulated. The value of a coin with even minor defects can drop by as much as 50%. The author of this passage is considering including this sentence after the first sentence. Quality is also important for art collection. Should the author add this sentence? The item asks you to evaluate the wisdom of adding a sentence. You have to indicate whether the answer should be yes or no, as well as a reason for your choice. The sentence, quality is also important for art collectors, doesn't have much to do with coin collecting. Consider the choices. Choice F and H give arguments for including the sentence. Choices G and J give plausible arguments for not including the sentence. Your choice is between G and I. Choice J is correct because a sentence about art collectors does not belong in this paragraph. The sentence interrupts the flow of the passage. J is the correct answer. ACT English Appropriate Use asks you whether and how to revise or add content to a passage based on a specific set of criteria. No hard and fast rules for answering questions. Read the items and the answers carefully to be sure you are providing exactly what the item is asking for. Only one correct answer exists.